How you doing? I'm David Mason. Getting started on YouTube channels, and my show is called Chop Shop. And something that I wasn't, I guess, probably ready to share. And it's been a little time at this point that's gone by, and being in a long-term relationship, and so I wanted to kind of speak on some of the things that I went on in my relationship, and maybe I'll be able to, it was just with my story, be able to help somebody out. This young lady, she flipped her world upside down. She moved from another state after meeting me out one night while I was still in college. She was in town for a wedding, and we hit it off really well. Spent a night, spent some time together even while she was just in town for the wedding. And our relationship grew even when she went back home. And we continued to communicate, and feelings grow, and all those sparkly good feelings that you have when you're meeting someone and getting to know them, meet somebody new that you digging, that you're feeling. And something that and she moved here. She moved here. I'd say met in the spring. She was in Houston, Texas. The next year, started that next year, she moved, and kind of got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but eventually we worked it out, and we kind of got going on our relationship. And I know a lot of people, they go through their ups and downs, and and that sort of thing. But our relationship, it really felt like there was a lot of ups and downs. And some of it I know is because, at the time, like I said, I'm still in college, so my mindset is a little different. She had just got out of college, a few years before that. She's a year older than me. And we tried to make things happen. We tried to make the sacrifices, and, some of the things that you have to kind of just get through to be with somebody that's different than you, and but you work it out. And we really grew together. Our friendship was, I'd say, probably the strongest part of our relationship. Not gonna lie, she was my best friend, and we tried to work through some of the other relationship, boyfriend girlfriend things. It had some ups and downs, no doubt, some struggles, some of our business being aired out, me airing some of it out to family members and friends, and sometimes with the telling family members, that stuff gets back around, and it makes the situation worse. But you're learning every day, and that's something that I've tried to take pride within myself, is to learn every day, to grow every day, even with my walk of, being a Christian man. But just being the person I am, it's just kind of wired in me. It's my part of my personality, and at times I guess even be stubborn, but reasonable. My mindset's a very reasonable one. If you come to me with a problem and we can talk about it, sounds reasonable, we can work it out. I'm not gonna give you not gonna be too much flack about it, and we can move past it. But back to the actual relationship stuff, with her and I, there's some things that I believe that you have to accommodate for the other person. That way you're making sure that it's a two-way street, not just a one-way street where it's, you know, all about you. And I know a lot of people, especially around my age, tend to be selfish, and they don't want to see things from different views. They don't want to compromise. And with some of those issues that went on between her and I, we had some issues with it. And we tried to make it happen, but things didn't always work out. Y'all gotta work with me. I'm trying to get through some stuff, working on different things, ads, and trying to just have a little background music, but we're gonna work it out. So like I said, I tried to make things as best as they could be, but it makes it a little bit more difficult when you're working with somebody that's not wanting to give, but only the things that they want to give. We tried to work it out. We had our on and off periods, but tried to work it out. I know I did. And the way I believe and the way my mind works with certain things is, if you are in a relationship or if you're wanting something, you're gonna work at it. And just because, you know, I know, and she made it clear that it shouldn't be this hard. But I want you guys to kind of reflect on, what would you do if you were, I mean, I played sports, so a lot of my references go back to sports. If there's something that you're trying to work towards and you're trying to get, you're going to find information, you're going to ask questions, you're going to get up early to practice, you're going to do what you need to do to make it happen. And it's not necessarily, to me, not necessarily that that's hard to do. It may be hard work, but if you want it, you'll go get it. And the reason, and I bring that back to my past relationship, and she didn't want to compromise with the things that I wanted out of the relationship. She would bring in, you know, something that may have been bothering her, or if I bring in something that was bothering me. And, but I would take it in, respond, and then say, all right, well, let me see what I need to do. I'm going to do what I need to do to make that happen, because I do want to see you happy, and, you know, I know I can. And she would say that back to me with certain things. And when it was time to put it into action, put it into play, she didn't make those changes. And to me, if you want something, you will do the things that are necessary to get that thing, or that goal, or whatever you are trying to accomplish. She said a lot of things, and, you know, told me things of what she wanted and what she wanted out of me and our relationship, but she didn't put forth the, I don't want to say effort, but she just wouldn't make the changes. And that's something that I really know, you know, especially, you know, my time of dating and just being on this earth, is you can't make someone change unless they want to change. And I know in the past, and other relationships, and probably even with this, her new relationship that she's going off into, is that these changes happen for the next guy. And I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm sour grapes or anything like that, but it's just interesting. And like I said, I wanted to share. You know, it's kind of been on my mind a little while, and I haven't, but this was I guess a little insight on some things, you know, with that. And I guess the biggest takeaway that I got was, if two people want the relationship to work, they will do what is needed to make sure that relationship works. Talk to some family members, some friends, and people in their comments about other people's relationships on I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that, and those sorts of things. But all that outside noise is irrelevant, because if the two people want it to work, they will make it work. No matter what they say or someone else says, they will do those things. And with them making those sacrifices or adjustments, it can happen. Because to be honest, things that were asked of me, to me, weren't that big of a deal. So maybe that's why, I say that it wasn't hard for me to make those changes. And I guess maybe the things I was asking were too hard for her to make a change, or she just didn't want to. She felt that whatever she was bringing was good enough. And it's not to say that she wasn't, not a great person. She was a great person, like I said. And honestly, I still even miss my friend, some of these days, especially these quarantine days, and single life. But you just got to get over it and keep moving. So, but I just want people to, kind of take a quick peek, slight peek into some of my mindsets on relationships and the things that you can do to maybe make it better, and communication. That's something that I'm pretty well versed at. I can handle myself in a conversation and communicate out if it's a problem or if it's just everyday life. But when you're dating or in a relationship with somebody that is kind of like a turtle, they always tucking their head back in their shell, makes things a little bit more difficult and can lead to frustration. I'm not gonna lie, dealing with some of that was frustrating. But don't get me wrong. I had my shortcomings in the relationship, and but some of that just came from timing, things and some maturity things that I needed to continue to grow on. But another ad, guys. But yeah, just and honestly, when I go back to, I mentioned timing, a lot of the timing for me was just getting in the right spot career-wise, and had jobs, doing my best to, make things happen, and things just at this point haven't timed up ideally, but I still take care of my business, and some people, some women are able to, see the light at the end of the tunnel. Some aren't. But that's just my journey. That's my path. It's my timing. And, but that doesn't mean that those things are not something I won't, I'm not going to get. Eventually will be. And, but I'm branching out and doing other things like this. And like I said, just doing my best to be a better David every day. And I think that if everyone, they spend some more time self-reflecting and focused a little bit more on themselves and not on just outside things or outside world or even family members that could be in your head, and just kind of focus on, all right, what do I need to do to be a better person, in my relationships, in my career, with my family, anything that you're doing, even within yourself, not beating up on yourself. I definitely spent some days beating up on David, and it's not fun. And you just continue to fix and things like, well, what can I do to make this better, or what can I do to, you know, fix a problem. But with that being said, I want you guys to like my video, subscribe, follow me, you know, all those wonderful things. And I'm gonna come back on. I'll have other topics to do, you know, sports. If you have any questions, hit my line. All right.